Roofman, directed by Derek Clan Friends, written by him and Kurt Gunn. This is the story of a very polite burglar who, after 50 or so burglaries, right? That's what it's called. He's caught, taken in prison. He escapes, and he stays in a Toys R Us for who knows how long. And in this time that he's here located, being away from his family, being away from his daughters, he befriends one of the workers there at the Toys R Us and starts to fall in love with her. And she has no idea that the person she's falling in love with is this all-time escaped convict. Guys, this is based on a true story. There was someone called a roofman who would climb up on fast food roofs, right? Whether in the mornings, very early mornings, or in the middle of the night. He'd punch holes with his hammer through the roofs, steal some money, get out, right? And this was done by Jeffrey Manchester, the man who Channing Tatum plays. Channing Tatum, good actor. And this is some of his best acting that I've seen from him. There were some surprising emotional beats that demanded from this guy. I was in the theaters and I was like, man, like, why am like, I'm getting emotional. Whoa, chill. That's how good he was doing. Some stuff that required the man tears to come out of him. And yeah, like it was felt very real whenever that happened. You know, sometimes actors cry and it feels very forced, but he sold it. He sold it and he did great in this role. I really do believe so. Him and Kirsten Dunst both did great, but man, the story is just unbelievable. It's just kind of crazy. All of this stuff. And what the film does so well is building sympathy for the villain, right? Building sympathy for the criminal. He's our protagonist. We follow him all along. And yes, he's robbed all of these places. He's never shot anyone. He points a gun at all the employees, but he's never shot anyone. And that's kind of like a play on the comedy too. But it's also what happened in real life. According to the news and everything, he was always very polite whenever he robbed somebody or the fast food restaurants, right? But what really hooks you and builds that sympathy and builds his character really well is his dynamic with his family. His necessity, his desperation to be with them, to still be their father, you know, that's what hits you. And honestly, that's what really pulls out all of the emotional and all of the tears that may come out while watching the film. They do a great job at showing how so badly he wants to be with his daughter and he can't. And it's all from a series of unfortunate, terrible choices that one could say this good man made, right? Prioritizing and focusing on the wrong stuff, really. Utilizing his great skills for the wrong reasons really just puts you in this position where eventually the walls are gonna close in on you. And strong supporting cast too from Peter Dinklage. You know, he did great. And I'll tell you this, right? The film says to be a comedy. I would describe it more as drama. I typically don't like when films market themselves as comedy because comedy is one of the more subjective and dependful, right, on everybody's tastes and each individual taste, right? If you go into this film expecting it to be a comedy, for me, I didn't have that many laughs other than something really funny happening in the Toys R Us. But if someone were to tell me, oh, it's a drama with a bit of jokes here and there, that would help me out as far as like expectations for the film. So I'll give you that, right? And I'll tell that to you. This film is a drama and it's got some jokes here and there, but really it's a story about a family man who made extremely poor choices and him having to deal with those choices as the walls close in on him and he does the impossible, right? Which is trying to start a new life in a cage. Yeah, man, it's tough. and the ending of the film solidifies that word. Tough. Good, solid film. It was a bit too long, right? Could have shaved about 15 minutes. This film is about 2 hours. It didn't have to be that long. There was some stuff that could have been shortened down for sure. But Channing Tatum's acting was really surprising. I didn't expect this guy to go all out like this. And because the film takes place way back when, not really way back when, right? But a couple decades ago, I believe, the movie was shot on film. It wasn't shot on digital, and it was made to create that graininess, that effect, and really you feel like you're watching a film from back then, right? And that you're watching a film that's taking place, that the story is taking place in. Just makes you really feel, again, in that time period. Overall, this movie was solid. I would give it a strong B minus. Okay, I'll be getting into my parental advisory section now. Spoilers are up ahead. Just a heads up. So this film is rated R. There is a brief sex scene about halfway through the film, I believe. There are some heterosexual kisses thrown throughout the film. There is a little bit of violence towards the end of the film, but it's not really graphic. And there's no shootings or anything like that. The main character does burglarize a lot of businesses, a lot of small businesses, or, chain restaurants, right? I pointed to my roof like you guys could see it, but there's strong language and there is nudity from the part of Channing Tatum. It's played for laughs and for comedic effect, and it is pulled off really well. Like, great, great comedic scene. But just a heads up, his butt naked and everything. All right, guys, those were my thoughts on Roofman. Let me know what you thought about the film. Let me know what you thought about this whole crazy story. It's insane. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.